Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So today's the big day, the start of the Fed cuts, monetary easing, and I believe this is a really good thing. So let's talk about how it could send Bitcoin and crypto to new highs, and let's discuss other things. All right, let's do it, guys. Let's do it. Welcome. We're starting the day at 116.2, 116.3. Actually, this is a good spot to be. We've been trending upwards. In fact, yesterday we actually hit as high as 117. Okay, because people are anticipating this rate cut is going to be really good. Good for markets. Okay, basically, Wall Street have thought about it and said, you know what, there's really not much that Powell and group could say that's going to upset things. And I think that's the reason why. Okay, so the U.S. market is starting out actually green. I did warn that usually the day of FOMC meeting, there's a lot of volatility. Okay, and usually afterwards, after the press conference, it is red. But it could be different this time around. You know why? Because we haven't had a rate cut in a long time, in like a year almost. The last time we had a major rate cut, and it started in September 2, 2024, we started with a 50 basis point cut. And that's because everyone thought that they were too late to start cutting. Kind of like how it feels now. Everyone feels like we should have cut in July. Is there a chance of a 50 basis point cut? I think that's still slim, but it is the start. Just like last year, after September, we started cutting. Markets started soaring. A lot of you guys remember from that September to January timeframe. Do you remember how much stocks and crypto rallied? That's when we got our first stint of altcoin season, and altcoins were really hot during that period. So now we're in September, leading into December, January. Are we going to see the same thing again? Well, the history repeats, then yes. If history repeats, then yes, because not only are we getting this single rate cut today, we're going to get two more. That's like guaranteed at this point. October and December. And who knows, maybe there's a big splash today and there's a 50 basis point cut. If so, it's going to be a crazy day, okay, if that happens. We'll see. Outside the FOMC meeting, there is this thing where China's wanting to ban Nvidia chips. I guess they're mad. They're using it as a bargaining chip, right? Because right now, both sides are going back and forth and negotiating. I think this is just a tactic for them to say, hey, you better deal with us or we're not going to buy Nvidia chips. Not that like we really need them to. Nvidia would obviously prefer it sold chips to China, but it doesn't need to. And it would actually hurt China a lot more because there's no other chip maker that comes anywhere close to making the chip and infrastructure that Nvidia has. Right. But anyways, ongoing thing. TikTok is also an ongoing thing. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. Besides the FOMC meeting, let's talk about some other things like inflows. Inflows still good. Yesterday was a better day than the day before, 292 million. Okay. BlackRock still buying. However, Ethereum turned red again. So this is not good, right? You want to see Ethereum pick up strong once again, like the weeks before the dumping. And the days before, like Monday and Tuesday, we had really good inflow, positive. But yesterday turned red again. Not sure what's going on with ETH and its momentum. Seems to be fading right now, especially among Wall Street guys. Don't know if it's just because of jitters before FOMC meeting or what. Let's see if it will reverse again. And so far, if you guys have been paying attention, this has been the best September ever for Bitcoin. Ever. Last year, we ended up the month in plus 7%. Right now, we're plus 8%. So obviously, the month is still going to go on. But we'll see. Last September is when we had those rate cuts start, right? So we're going to see the same thing again. And look at what happened last year. We had plus 7%, plus 11%, and plus 37% in November. We could see something similar, maybe even better than those numbers this time around as we lead into December, right? And the only reason why last year we had a red December is because I forgot. I think that's when the Fed said something and said like, "Oh, we're gonna be pausing or something like that soon." And I think we did pause in January. So it's always to that effect. Okay, the Fed with their monetary policies and how it disrupts markets, but this time around, it's looking good. It's looking good. Tom Lee also predicts a monster move for Bitcoin and Ethereum next 3 months because of the monetary easing. And that's based on history. And he said it himself. Last year, when this happened, everything soared, everything pumped. And if we're going based on history, then that's what's going to happen again. It'll be good. Very, very good. What is it? You know, these loyal Bitcoin treasury companies are going to continue to do their thing and load up. Metaplanet, which has been loading up a lot in Japan, but they're opening subsidiaries in the US because they want to raise more money and buy more Bitcoin. You know, Sailor better watch it. Metaplanet may be making some big moves, may one day surpass Strategy. I don't think so, though. I don't think so. They're so far away still. But they're making big moves. They want to keep loading up, and that's good. And here's someone else. JGD Culture Group will acquire $879 million, 7,500 Bitcoin. That's a large purchase, almost $1 billion right there. So these companies, these treasury companies, still being formed every single week, it seems like. And the existing ones keep on buying more Bitcoin. So again, you just do the math. Do the math. This is why Bitcoin is so damn stable and strong right now. We just need that little push upwards. We're only 6.8% below our all-time high. We're not that far off. Less than 10%. And a lot of option traders are placing their longs right now. A lot of people think that these rate cuts are going to bring us to the promised land, to 200,000 plus. Remember yesterday I covered AI prediction. And the worst case scenario, according to ChatGPT, anticipates that Bitcoin will be at $140,000 by the end of the year. That's worst case scenario. Base scenario was at 200, and a bullish was 220, and an ultra bullish was 250. So even if you use the last two, either we're going to be at 140 or 200, or somewhere in between, and that's not a bad place to be. Stablecoin Netflow into exchanges really, really high, plus $2 billion. I think this is in anticipation of what's going to happen today. You had $2+ billion come into Binance, and I'm assuming people are just going to use that to buy. Otherwise, why would they be sending stables to Binance? And this is for all exchanges. So you got major major inflows, okay, in one single day. If you look at all exchanges, like 9 billion waiting to FOMO. Last thing about Bitcoin is this. Like I said, last year, the Fed kicked off 50 basis point cut, and we did it for a few months. And that's how Bitcoin responded. It's hard to even think about that. This time last year, Bitcoin was in the 50s. And we were there for like basically the entire year. And then what happened? We doubled. We went up to $106,000. We literally doubled within 3 months. So some of you guys may be thinking, well, it's impossible to hit 200,000. We doubled just last year within 3 months. So can we double from here in 3 months? Yes, there's enough money out there. Bitcoin isn't at $1 million. Okay, doubling from 1 million to 2 million, probably pretty hard. But from 100,000 to 200,000, there's certainly enough money out there to do that. Outside of Bitcoin, hey, you know what? Sol is getting hot. You got Ford Industries that's going to offer $4 billion in equity offering because they want to buy $4 billion worth of Sol. Right? So all the e-treasury companies, they kind of set an example for others, and now others are doing it with Sol. This is fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Outside of that, Swiss Bank is the first cross-bank, executes first cross-bank payment on public blockchain. And this is on Ethereum, by the way. Interesting. So you got banks that are looking to utilize existing chains for services. And of course, XRP is a big one. A lot of banks in Asia, supposedly, is using XRP for cross-border payments and transactions. And that's it. That's it. Let's see what's going to happen today. All right. Let's do some Q&A. People say, a lot of people say, if we got a 25 basis point cut, we can correct heavily. That is possible. That is possible. I mentioned at the very beginning and throughout this week that normally speaking, after a rate cut, after a press conference, you have red, deep red. And then on Thursday, you get red too. And then you come up on Friday. That's normally how it is. Unless it's really bearish, really hawkish, then all 3 days will be red. And then the next week. So that's normally how it goes. But this time around could be different depending on what he says. If he's really dovish, I think that may change things. So far this week has been a surprise. Yesterday turned out to be a green day. Yesterday, usually the day before is red. So we'll have to see. Thoughts about GameFi, specifically DFK and Jewel? Well, GameFi itself is fine. I don't know about DFK and Jewel because they really just have no momentum. I've talked with the team before earlier this year, hung out a lot with them last year and this year. They're still making great strides, you know, improving the game and stuff. And they had some major partnerships like with Metis and others and Avalanche. But you know, in terms of getting new audience, that's been very difficult. games overall have not been doing well. If games pick up again, if Web3 games actually pick up, then there's a chance for them to recover and everyone else, because there's really no game project that's doing well right now. The meeting should be 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time or 2:30 Eastern. You know what? I haven't streamed one for a long time. I may stream it on my pump.fun account while playing Clash Royale. Because, listening through a meeting is quite long and boring. Especially when the reporters ask the same questions over and over and over and over again, like 30 times. And he has to restate his stance like 30 times. Ray, what's your question? And don't at me. You should know that. You're a regular. Don't at me. Thoughts on the real token XRPL magnetic DEX? I have no idea. Kurt's Creatures PMG. Can the ETS be delayed again in November? It doesn't make sense why they keep delaying it. I think it makes sense. I think because there's some other things at play. I think they're probably, first of all, they're waiting for this last XRP SEC lawsuit to be finally over. I think both sides call it quits, but the Judge Torres needs to say yes or no or something, right? I think they're waiting for that to be over because they want to list all of them at the same time. They don't want to give Sol first movers advantage or anything like that. I think they want to do Sol, XRP, Doge, all these at the same time. That's the reason why. Will Rider says Metaplanet is garbage. Why is that? The stock is garbage, or something else? Joshua, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm telling you guys, based on history, after a FOMC press conference, okay, markets dump, no matter what is said. I've done it for years where I covered it and looked at it. Historically speaking, if I was a betting man, I would say the markets dump after the press conference, even if he's really good and says all the right things. However, history doesn't always repeat. There could be changes, things that he says that are so good that Wall Street loves it and everything pumps sky high. But that's short term. Normally speaking, even when he has really good things to say, the day of and the day afterwards are red. And then afterwards, you really start pumping hard. That's how it's always been. So I expect more of the same today, although I was surprised yesterday because crypto blew up yesterday afternoon. And that was a surprise. That normally doesn't happen before FOMC meetings. So this time around could be different. Anthony, do you think Arrow will be affected by CB's new token? Possibly. It's funny about that, right? Coinbase and Base probably are looking at all these other chains making tons of money with transaction fees and so forth. And they're like, what are we doing with Base? We don't have a token. So yeah, I think they're just jealous. And then now because SEC has a relaxed stance, they're like, yeah, let's do it. Before they wouldn't even consider it. Now, uh, they're greedy too. They want to come out their own token, um, and they'll just call it a governance token or whatever. But really, what they're after is all the transaction fees. If you look at the L2s of these other other chains, they're just making filthy money off of the transaction fees. What are your thoughts on XYO and how high it could go? They're older chain. I mean, they look decent as a L1 chain. They used to be very concentrated on geolocations. Now they're just a normal chain. I don't think they did anything different or separate themselves from anyone else. Maybe they're more focused on IoT devices. I forgot what their main thing is. Yeah, I can't really say what really separates them from anyone else. Relatively small market cap, 140. They had a big pump in 2021. Earlier in 2024, 2025, they had a little pump. Right now, they have no momentum. I've been having fun in streaming on here. And look how consistent this token has been. Like, flat line right here. No big dumps. Very consistent. The holders are very, very loyal. They understand patience is key. I may I may stream the FOMC meeting here while playing Clash and see what happens. Do you think Sonic will start performing well toward the end of this bull market? Yeah, they have a chance. They have a chance, but a lot of people, forgot about their history. Um, so I don't know if that's gonna help or not. A lot of people look at Sonic, they think it's a new chain. No, it was Phantom, and Phantom did quite well in the last run, led by a good leader. But you don't really hear a lot about Andre Crony these days. He was considered like a DeFi king. He left Phantom, came back. Now they rebranded to Sonic, which is supposed to be a brand new, faster chain, but it's still Ethereum based and kind of lost in the sea of other Ethereum based EVM chains. Nick says Sonic is guaranteed to do well because I sold my entire bag. You know, this platform, this Pump.Fun live stream platform is actually quite amazing. They did a fantastic, well, I guess they have like all the money in the world to do stuff, right? You got the integrated chart. They have the socials in here. You could share, you could favorite, you could buy directly on here. Obviously, that's the point. It also has all your streams listed here. Like they really put everything in here. So there's replays here. You know, I don't know how they're gonna handle all the streams and the storage of streams because like YouTube pays enormous amount of money for it. I don't know if they have their own data layer on top of their chain or what. I don't even know if they had chain. I think they just have a token. So I don't know where that's stored, but that's going to be very costly if a ton of people are streaming all the time. And everything works. When I stream, it's really fast. It's clear. It's clearer than YouTube. So this platform that they created is really impressive. For their first edition, too. It's not like they... you know, they're really missing out on anything. It's really good. XCN. I don't know about XCN. Honest Coin, they're a banker's coin, very similar to XRP. They were pumping up to the moon earlier this year. Can't really quite figure it out. I mean, after the Genius bill and stuff passed, you know, people thought they were going to do really well, but they just kind of faded out. They were pumping way too much. Like, there was no reason for this kind of pump. People were associating them with XRP. And I think they were just led by the momentum. I don't have a favorite cigar. I don't even know how to smoke a cigar. I tried it once, and I don't know how to puff it or inhale it. So I had a horrible time. Got 4,200 people in here. Today's an important day. Like I said, if history repeats, no matter what happens, we're going to get a red day today and tomorrow. But then we start rallying on Friday and Monday and next week. Next week, we'll probably rally extremely hard. But today and tomorrow, we probably will see red based on history. Unless what he says is so good, we just start rallying today. And, you know, there's always a chance of that. Right now, just like this states, there's a 6% chance there's the 50 basis point cut. It's not very likely. It's probably not going to happen. But this time around last year, that's how he kicked it off, a 50 basis point cut. Arrow and Morpho. Pablo, not a fan of Arrow, and I don't know what Morpho is. Is it a DEX 2 on base? I don't know what chain it's on. Oh, it's lending company. Yeah, lending. I don't know too much about Morpho, but Arrow, I know a lot of people love Arrow because it did shoot up quite a lot. But I just find it pointless when Uniswap is around. All the liquidity is on Uniswap. If you want to trade memes on Base or anything, you do it on Uniswap. You don't do it on Arrow. And I had a horrible experience trying to use Arrow. Like it just wouldn't work for me. My wallets would not connect, and the site always crashes on me. Um, so I never understood the appeal of it. NYC Riser, go ahead and ask ChatGPT about it, where it sees the price, because I'm not that familiar, not a big XCN guy. Base is getting a token. You know, they came out and said they're exploring options or whatever. What is there to explore? They're just gonna come out the base token and call it a governance token, just like all the L2s. All the L2s out there, they have their own token, and they call it a governance token, and they just collect all these transaction fees. That's really what they do. Yeah. All these people just asking, what time is the FOMC meeting? There's Google, right? There are some things you probably just want to ask Google about, and AI. Am I going to be a billionaire someday? The chances of that are very little. But if you don't have a goal, if you don't have a mission, if you don't have big dreams, it'll never happen, right? So you got to set big expectations for yourself. And that's how you'll get there. You almost manifest it. If you want it enough and you work hard enough, then there's a chance. But if you just sit at home and just sit on your couch and just say, yeah, this is enough for me, then nothing will ever happen. Can I still stream if I become a billionaire? Yeah, this is like my life now. If I was a billionaire and I was flying around in my private jet and on yachts and traveling to exotic locations, I would still probably make videos. I wouldn't do daily streams like this. I'd probably have a team member continue to do this on CryptosRUs, but I would probably still make videos. Like in my personal life, I have to do something. Like I'm at a point where I can't just do nothing. It even irritates my family sometimes. Like on a Saturday and Sunday, they just want to loaf around and watch TV and play their games or whatever, right? I'm like, no, let's go do something. Like I have to do something. That's why I fill my time with a lot of streaming and stuff and other things, but like I just can't sit around. I really can't. If I sit around for more than like 2 hours, I feel like I'm wasting my time. I just have to do it. Doesn't mean it's work, but like I gotta go walk the dogs or go to the gym or work on a yard or something or go for a drive. I have to do something. All right, let's look at the portfolio. This is in Discord, by the way. Everyone should join Discord. By the way, Bootcamp. Haven't said a lot about Bootcamp, but Bootcamp is coming up again. Okay, it's free to join. We've had 3 of them, very successful. Bootcamp is for trading. If you want to learn how to trade, Tyler leading the way. He's been doing a really good job, and he's starting live streaming with trades. This is exclusive for Discord and Bootcamp members, so you could do it. You got someone saying hi. But if you look at this last portfolio from Nate, 80% Bitcoin, 4.5 in Sol, 3 in ETH. I don't know, most of the like grass. I don't know what grass is or Nadex is or whatever. I'd say that's a decent portfolio, but I say since we're in altcoin season, you gotta lighten up a little bit on the Bitcoin allocation and go heavier into some of the alts, like Sol and XRP and AVAX. You know, those could be beefed up. Nacho, he's a regular on my Pump.Fun streams. It's funny, they're trying to chart Clash. You can't really chart a meme coin, at least not one this small. Yeah, I may most likely I'm going to stream the FOMC meeting on my Pump.Fun account and play some Clash while at it. So if you want to watch, go to the account and follow me. It's in the description of this video. I'll probably tweet it out right beforehand also, and we'll see how that goes. It's usually pretty fun. It's more lively too. And then I could play music without worrying about like copyright stuff. That's usually what happens now. Like I just play music and just relax. It's pretty fun. Last night what I was doing, we had like almost 100 people watching. It was like 90 something. And it was the best one so far. I can only make XRP, dude. You can only make money on Pump.Fun streaming. They don't have the same monetization. It's not like you get views from ads or anything. There's no ads, nothing like that. You only get money, creator revenue, rewards if people are trading. That's it. Which sometimes that's why some of these influencers, when they create their own coins, it skyrockets, and they make money from that revenue, the trading revenue. But I'm going to be using this like this Wednesday. No, this Friday. Actually, I should just show it. It's in my Discord. So I'm going to be hosting this Friday. So, this is what I'm going to do with the creator revenue and make it fun and viral so more and more people participate. So I'm going to post this on Friday. Anyone can join. I'm probably going to set it to 200 person limit. And basically you win a whole bunch of Sol. First place wins 2 Sol. Second place wins 1 Sol. Third place wins 0.5 Sol. And 4 to 10 place, you get 0.1 Sol. This is pretty good rewards just for playing a game for free. And I'll host the whole thing on my pump.fun account. Josh, the clan's name is CryptosRUs. It's full right now, but if there's people that kick out, then you could join. I don't know what you mean by max player. If you're like 15K trophies, we have a lot of people that's 15K trophies. You know, I can only have 50 clan members. So that's coming up this Friday. You know, the thing says, seems like most YouTubers have given up on DOT, but wait until it comes back, watch and start talking about it again. That is true. A lot of people talked about it. I think I covered them a little bit in 2021, but I really do not like them anymore. At least they had some parachains back in the day that had momentum and did well, like Moon River, for example. I used to get asked about it all the time, and Engine had a parachain too, and others did as well. But now they all died. Not one of them is being used or talked about. And that's it. Polkadot is a layer 0 with parachains that are layer 1s. And none of the L1s are doing well. So, yeah. And there's been rumors, not even rumors, confirmed, governance issues. Like whenever there's a vote, Gavin Wood, who is a co-founder of Ethereum, he has the most DOT. So he overrules things all the time with his share. So when they vote on things, it doesn't always seem like it's truly decentralized. Terry, look in the description of this video. I have a link to the account. You'll see it. You don't have to remember it, but it's Play Clash Royale. That's the username. But I have a link in the description. So the FOMC meetings will be at 1:30. I'll probably start the stream like at 1-ish, 1:10, 1:15 on here. And we'll go from there. Yeah, Engine was a really hot gaming chain. I've talked about Engine a lot before. I thought it would do really well. They started out with a Minecraft integration, and then they were doing big things. They had their own token, the special ERC token. They were really heavily involved with NFTs and stuff. I think when the NFT market died, that's when they died, I think they're still around. They didn't really die. It's just they just lost all momentum. They were really high. And they started a parachain on Polkadot. I mean, look at that. They were at a $4 billion market cap. And since that have made no traction coming back. You had to update your knowledge of Polkadot. Those are talking points from 2023. Okay, then tell me some talking points from 2024 and 2025. What have they done besides move to Polkadot 2.0 that has significant traction? Let's just say that. Let's see. Market cap. It used to be at, geez, 53 billion market cap. I mean, they're still pretty large at 7 billion, but 53 billion does not seem like they climbed at all, really, towards it. So they still have to go up 8x, 9x almost to go back to their all-time high. Polkadot set a 2.1 billion dot cap today. Well, I mean, this shows their circular supply and total supply is at 1.61. So obviously they're inflationary. I mean, it would have been better if they said that 1.61 billion is the peak. But yeah, that's another reason why if you look at the price and market cap, even though they look similar, they're not exactly the same because it's been inflating. So for the token price to go back up to where it was before is even harder. Market cap is easier, but the price of the token is going to be much harder because it used to be at $53. That's more than 10. That's 11, 12x, right? No, that's like 15x. But the market cap is more like 8x, 9x. That's due to inflation. So if they set their cap at 1.61 where it is today, that would be better. But if it's still going to inflate more, it is what it is. I mean, not everything. Ethereum, Sol, they don't have set caps. They do inflate forever, but there's just a lot more buyers at this point. Toshi is up 62% today. No idea why. Yeah, I'm no idea. Am I going to interview Peter Schiff? You know, I emailed his person that he told me to email. I never heard back. I'm not in a big rush to interview him. I'm sure I'll run into him again sometime at a future conference. And I may just do a quick interview with him. There's really nothing I can say that hasn't been asked before. He's never going to relent. He's never going to say he's wrong. He's never going to say good things about Bitcoin. So there's almost no point. So we'll see. Oh, it's listed on Binance? That makes a lot of sense then. All right, guys. That's it. So let's wait for the FOMC meeting. Let's see what happens. Historically speaking, after a press conference, everything turns red. Okay, for a couple days. But it may be different this time, depending on what he says. So I guess we'll see. Right now, Wall Street and everyone else is kind of waiting. I'll probably stream this on my pump.fun account. So make sure you join it if you want to watch and participate. I'll play Clash while listening. That is in the description. And I'll tweet it out too, right beforehand, right around 1 o'clock. All right? All right, guys. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.